Hi there, Steve Kaufmman here. Today I'm going to make what I consider to be one of my most important videos for language learners. I'm going to talk about what I consider to be the biggest mistake that most language learners make. Okay? This is the biggest mistake, the biggest obstacle, the biggest hurdle, the biggest thing that prevents people from succeeding and becoming fluent, whatever that means. And that mistake is that people stay with the beginner material for too long. They stay with the beginner book. They stay with the beginner course, the beginner lesson. They never get beyond it. And it's quite unnecessary. If you buy a beginner book, which I think is a good thing to do if you embark on learning a new language, that beginner book, you can use it for a year, but you keep on going back to it. You don't try to master it. You don't try to learn it, understand it. You don't have to learn or remember the dialogues, the vocabulary, the grammar rules, nothing. It's just a bit of an initial guide, something that you go back to regularly. As soon as possible, you have to get away from the artificial environment of the beginner course, the beginner textbook, or whatever your teacher has you doing in class. You have to get beyond that. You have to get into real language. Now, if I look at my own experience with Czech, I kept track of it. I started July the 23rd, and I was looking at it today, and on August the 4th, I started bringing in, using Link's quick, bookmarklet, quick import system, bringing in articles from Czech newspapers. So that's, whatever it was, 2 weeks after I started. Fighting my way through these, of course, clicking on every word, saving the words to my database, reviewing them, not really understanding it, kind of picking my way through, maybe 30-40%, most unclear, the structure was unclear. I kept on doing it. Again, because we keep track of these things in Link, I have brought in something like 161 newspaper articles. I started on July the 23rd, August 23rd, September 23rd, and then I discovered Radio Prague on August the 23rd. I happened to look this up because we have these records in the system, and I've been importing to my system articles from the radio station with the transcripts, which they provide. And I have imported something like 65 of these. So I've read the equivalent of 2 books in Czech of adult, authentic material intended for native speakers. Do I understand it all? No. Do I know all the words there? No. But I know a lot of it, because now when I bring in new texts to my account in Link, I can see that there's 20% new words. It used to be 80% new words. And that's just by reading and listening. Because I don't expect to understand it all. Even though I listen 2, 3, 4 times, read it 2, 3, 4 times, I don't understand it. But it is all helping my brain get used to Czech. So, after 2 months and a bit, I'm actually not bad now. I can read. Like, I ordered some books. I can actually show you this. Here. Whoops. Yeah, I ordered a bunch of books. Český osud, Dejiny zemi koruny české, střední Evropa v dějinách, in history. Okay, I'm going to get my way through these. The thing is, you've got to leave. Now, I'll go and read those, or I'll read, more than likely, it's more. Those are more for the future. I've still got to read with the help of Link. But I'll get to those. And yet still, I will still go back to the beginner book, because there's all kinds of stuff in the beginner book that I won't learn on the first pass, on the second pass, on the third pass. It'll take me the 4th or 5th pass before these things sink in. But a majority of people, they get the beginner book, and I've got a beginner book handy here somewhere, and they never leave it, because they never feel comfortable. They don't feel they've learned everything in the beginner book. The beginner book doesn't matter. The beginner book is like, it's like that step into the swimming pool, and then you got to start swimming. you got to start swimming. What matters is how much can you understand, how many words do you have, how familiar are you with the language, to what extent is the language starting to become a part of the brain, whatever. So, the big mistake people make is they stay with the beginner book for far too long. Within a month or 2 or 3, depending on the language, you've got to get into the real language. Okay?